Well, tell you what, a guy who always brings the heat, it's Bob Casper. This UNA Golf Open Championship update brought to you by Mountland Supply, Zions Bank, Black Desert Resort, Hoops Vision, and Siegfried and Jensen. It's Bob Casper right here on 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone. Bob, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
I'm doing well. Hans, are you calling me a major pain in the butt?
Would you disagree?
No, I wouldn't. I am.
I think it's pretty fair. I think it's pretty fair. No, we love you, obviously, but Scotty has been on a real heater. He's putting together 3 golfers, and he's hitting low scores, and it's becoming a problem. Even though I had the winning golfer last major, he ended up having the 3 best scores.
So,
wins trump 3 best scores.
So the win gets 3 points. It gets 3 extra points, even with 3 extra strokes, even with that.
Oh, okay.
Here was his. This was Scotty's picks. He went. I
don't even remember.
DeChambeau.
He went Scotty Scheffler. Roy McIlroy. Scotty was +8. But remember, you called that. Scotty was +5 at the cut. And you said, well, it was +3 was the cut line. He said, well, we've seen it where it slipped down to +5, and he snuck in the cut. He had Rory at 5 under and Matsuyama at 2 under. And I had Morikawa. Bryson at 9, ended up with 9 under because I got to add 3, and then Sepp Straka. Sepp Straka killed me.
Gotcha.
That was a terrible pick, Bob. Terrible.
Wow, that was a Frank Dolce laugh right there.
That was
pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know why.
So what's new, boys?
How are you been, by the way? You summer treating you well?
I've been good. Yeah, summer's treating me good. Treating me good. Just had my birthday a few days ago, and yeah, I'm getting freaking old, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob.
Father time's undefeated, man.
I'm getting old.
These are the best years of your life. You got the grandkids. You got the barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
You still get to do your golf radio. And
you still firing up the smoker? You got it? You still cranking that stuff out?
So we had a birthday party a birthday and family reunion for my mom last week on Thursday and Friday. So the first night was a reunion. Just everybody came. I fired up and cooked 4 pork butts.
There you go.
And for everybody, we had about 100 and something people, and I still had a tray left over.
Woo!
So
4 pork butts got 120 people. Wow, nice.
Yeah, you can go about 120 to 140 with 4 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do sandwiches or?
Oh yeah, all pulled pork sandwiches.
Attaboy.
Yep.
Attaboy. All right, Royal Troon. Obviously, iconic course. Just how much fun is it to be able to see an Open at this course?
It's a great golf course. Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson dueled it out last time, and Stenson ended up winning by a few shots. I think it was 3 shots. But, the 4 guys before them were all U.S. guys. And the other thing is, I think, what do we have, 7 in a row, something like that, U.S. players that have won majors now. It's a great golf course. It's going to play a little bit longer, about 150 or 160 yards longer than last time. So it's going to play almost 7,400 yards. The thing that is interesting is they're expecting some weather tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're expecting some rain. And if it develops into high winds, then that's totally a different story. But the golf course is very green right now. It's not baked out and really dry, and because of that, it has the potential. If there is no wind, it has the potential to be very, very low score as the winner.
All right, Bob. Let's talk a little bit serious here about Tony Finau, because we've got a T5 finish at the Travelers. We got a T3 finish at the U.S. Open, where he took home a very nice purse. We got a T8 finish at the Memorial. We've got a top 20 finish at the PGA Championship. It's all lined up for Tony to have a really good finish and potentially a really good tournament. But let's talk about the true possibilities of him winning his first major.
Well, Tony has played some really good golf in major championships. I think he's tied for his lowest score, or his tie for his lowest was just recently in the U.S. Open, a tie for third, and he was the same thing in the British Open. Let me see, what year was that? The Open Championship. Yeah, that was in 2019. He was third. So he's got a tie for third in a U.S. Open in 2024 and a third in an Open Championship in 2015. As you said, Hans, he's playing well. And I think Tony will have a really good week this week. I really do.
Does it feel like with him, and, I remember, look, this shows you, we talk about getting old. You and I have been having these conversations for, seems like, 20 plus years on the radio station. And I remember there was a day where we were like, when's Phil going to get that first major? When's he going to get one? And then he got it, and then they kind of came in bunches after that. Does it feel like if Tony gets one, then number 2 and 3 probably aren't too far behind?
Yeah, I think you're right, Scotty. I think simply from the standpoint of once he gets one, once he figures it out and he gets over the top, he's got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got 10. He's got 11 top 10s in majors. Whew. 11 top 10s in majors. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 5 top 5s in majors. He's knocking on the door. No doubt about it. He is knocking on the door. And especially in this last little bit, like you said, Hans, how his game is improving, and he's to where he was tied for third at the U.S. Open. So I think Tony could have a really, really good event this week. He hits the ball adequately long. In fact, he's one of the long hitters, one of the longest hitters, but he controls his ball flight really well. He keeps the ball down if it's windy, that kind of thing, and that goes right along with what you need to do at an Open Championship.
Did your dad, did Billy ever tell you what it was that separated those moments in the majors, maybe as compared to other tournaments, and maybe what the gear was that he had that helped him get the multiple majors? Or do you have kind of a thought and advice on what it is?
Well, it was interesting. I was talking with him one time just about winning in general, okay? And I think it takes it to a next level when you're talking about majors, of which he has 2 U.S. Opens and a Masters. But what he said is there's a lot of guys out there that when they get in the heat of competition and it's coming down to the end of the road and they have a chance to win, he said there's a lot of guys there that'll say, yeah, give me the ball. I want it. Pile it all on me. Put all the pressure on me. I'm gonna go out and win this thing. And he said, and then there are guys that kind of shy away from it a little bit. And so, a guy like a Michael Jordan or, a Peyton Manning or whatever, give me the ball. I'll do it. I'll take you. I'll move you along and get you to the championship and win. And I think that's the kind of attitude that you have to have when you play professional golf, and especially wins, but more so in majors.
So overall, give me your list of guys that we need to be paying attention to coming up this week, that this course kind of plays into their game, plus their momentum they're bringing into this tournament.
Well, let me see. Let me pull up my list here. I've got it right here. First of all, Scotty Scheffler, I think you got to look at him. Xander Schauffele, he's another guy that, he got his first major this year, but he's continued to play better and better in the majors. So I would think he'd be another one. Rory, coming off of the last major that he lost, as far as a bounce back, he's done it before in his career before, where he's lost closely in a major championship and bounced back and won. Let me see who else. it's kind of really weird to go over everything. Colin Morikawa has been playing some great golf lately. He'd be a good one. Victor Hovland was really struggling at the beginning of the year, but he's figured it out, went back to his old coach, and he's right back in the mix of things and playing extremely well. Ludwig Oberg is another one that you got to look at. I would think that's probably about it. Maybe Koepka, because he kind of stands out in majors. But yeah, my picks for this week are Scotty, Xander, Colin Morikawa, and Sahith Theegala. So,
one guy that I've been watching fairly closely is because I think that the live experiment is interesting, where you're all live tournaments, then you jump into these majors, is Dustin Johnson, and he didn't make the cut in the Open, he didn't make the cut in the Masters. Right. I don't remember what his PGA finish was, but I know it was terrible, and he's been playing all these live events. But Dustin was a golfer that there was a few year period time, Bob, that he was in every headline and he was in every race. What's happened to Dustin Johnson?
Well, I think because there isn't any relevancy with live golf, that these guys kind of lose their way. And part of that could be also that they're not playing for they're playing in majors, yes, but they're not playing for history. Live golf, nobody remembers what anybody's won, how many tournaments Dustin's won, all that kind of thing. Where prior to that, he won – 2 majors, and he won 22 times on the PGA Tour, and his PGA Championship was a tie for 43rd. So when you look at, I think John Rahm, because he's gone into a slump, a little bit of a slump, is because there's no relevancy in what they're doing. They're not getting world ranking points. They're not getting anything that is putting them in the forefront of the golfing public. There was a streaming service called Caffeine that the Live Golf was involved with, and Caffeine cut Live Golf off after 6 events this year. Nobody was signing up to play on it. You can catch it on the CW, but if I've got a PGA Tour event that I'm watching, or the CW, I'm not changing back and forth. I'm watching the PGA Tour because of the relevancy of the tour.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's an interesting angle where, you're playing in live and you're getting a ton of money. You're not playing for history. It erodes your edge a little bit, where you know,
very much,
you get a little fat and sassy, and you don't really playing for much. And that makes a lot of sense. I get that.
That helps me.
You see a lot of guys, a lot of young guys that are winning out on tour. A lot of names that people don't know right now. Okay, and that's the great thing about the PGA Tour is the meritocracy with the PGA Tour. You earn what you get. So a guy like Scotty Scheffler, who 2 to 3 years ago was literally nowhere, top maybe 40 in the world, hadn't won or anything, and in the last 2.5 years he's won 12 times and won 2 majors. Okay, he's figured it out, and he's figured out what he needs to do to play the best. And you'll always have a guy that will be a number 1 player in the world that has figured it out. It's not somebody that's going to luck into it. And Scotty Scheffler, number 1 player in the world, has not lucked into it. He enjoys playing the game of golf, and he enjoys winning. He's got that fire burning inside him.
Bob Casper right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Bob, appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to catching up with you a little bit later on the week when the scores start rolling in, but should be a fun one. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Bob.
It will be. Thanks, guys.
You got it. He's the best. Bob Casper, you hear him every Saturday morning, Real Golf Radio with Brian Taylor, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.